Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. How's it going, Isaac Ben and C. Grover over on Discord, and let's see, Halati over on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Let me shuffle a couple of things around. It looks like I have sound at least into OBS, so I think we're good. Let's see. How's it going, Beata? Happy Friday. So let me turn off a couple of these previews and shuffle these windows around so I can see the chat. Take a drink of water. All right, and now we can get going. So hello, everyone. My name is Tim, and I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. This is the CircuitPython Deep Dive program. This program occurs every Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific or 4 p.m. Central Time, which is the time zone that I'm in, or 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you can find out whatever time zone it is for you by converting one of those times. In this program, we are taking a deep dive into CircuitPython. We are either usually looking at CircuitPython libraries or coding projects, or perhaps sometimes the core of CircuitPython itself written in C code. So we are really getting into the kind of deep nitty-gritty details of CircuitPython on this program. This was a stream that was originally started up by Scott Shawcroft, the lead developer of CircuitPython. He is away right now on paternity leave, so I've been taking over and doing this stream for a little while. And so that's what the stream is. If you are brand new to all of this, though, and you don't know what I'm going on about, let me take just a moment to introduce it for folks that might be new. CircuitPython, this is basically an implementation of Python that runs on these tiny computers called microcontrollers. This is the main website, circuitpython.org. You can go here to learn more if you're interested. We basically have a version of Python that runs on all of these tiny little computers. They come in all different shapes and sizes. They have all different kinds of things you can hook up to them to do with them, like sensors and buttons and beepers and lights. And, there's Cherry MX keys, as well as RGB lights, knobs, screens. We do a lot with screens on my streams typically. So you can save Python code to these devices, and it will run for you. These just show up like a thumb drive, essentially. When you plug it into your computer, there's a Python code file on there. Open up that code file, edit your Python code, and save it, and it will automatically run on the device. So that's kind of like high level what the project is about. It's an open source project, so anybody is allowed to help contribute. If you'd like to join the community, definitely head over and join us on Discord. That's a good place to go to get started. If you want to help with development, it all occurs out in the open, out on GitHub, so you can join us over there. You can coordinate with us, chat in Discord. There's weekly meetings that occur every Monday inside the Discord channel, so those are a couple of different ways you can get involved. Like I did say, though, it's an open source project, so it's free to use. Everybody is allowed to contribute. Everybody is allowed to use CircuitPython on their devices. If you're a third-party hardware manufacturer, you're allowed to port CircuitPython to make it run on your device for free. You don't have to pay anything in order to do that. CircuitPython as a project, though, is supported by this company, Adafruit. They're a hardware and software company based out of New York. They're the company that is paying the team who works on CircuitPython. Some folks like Scott, Kattni, and Dan and Jeff are paid full-time to work on the CircuitPython project and surrounding, community and related things. Some other folks like me and a couple others are paid to work on the project part-time. So thank you, of course, to Adafruit for paying all of us to work on the project, and thank you to anyone watching if you want to help support the project by purchasing hardware from Adafruit. You can do that over at adafruit.com. They sell all sorts of hardware, the microcontrollers themselves, all of the different kinds of sensors and doodads and add-ons and all those things that you can plug into your microcontroller to build interesting projects with. So thank you to them, and thank you to anybody who does purchase hardware from them. Jumping into today's program, though, sounds great on YouTube. Thank you. Got here on time, almost. Nice. Yeah, you're pretty much on time, I'd say. Thanks for tuning in, Harold. Let me catch up on a couple of the other chats here. Nas recently went end of life. Uh-oh. Thankfully, it was a long and productive life. Nice. That's good. At least 8 years on a spinning disc. Happy, let's see, good midnight. How's it going, Axel Magnus? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Uh-oh, ruined both pies. That's not what we want. Nobody likes a ruined pie. This is a little fuzzy, isn't it? Let's see if we can sharpen that up just a tad. Jumping into today's program, though, what I'm going to work on is we're going to take a look at that's a lot better there. We're going to take a look first at a utility made by a community member, C. Grover, Cedar Grove Studios. So thank you to C. Grover for making this and sharing it. This is a CircuitPython palette filter, and what this does, for folks that were watching last week, I don't remember if it was on Friday or Saturday last week. It was one of my streams. For folks that were watching last week, though, this idea spawned out of something that came up in one of last week's streams. We were talking about the idea of being able to sort of filter a palette by colors that are similar to the transparent color. So if you imagine, a common scenario in CircuitPython is you have some bitmap image, you want to make some portion of that image be transparent. In CircuitPython, the way that you would do that is part of your image will be a certain transparency color, such as I like to use green because it makes me think of a green screen. You can actually use whatever color you want. I'll show you an example of this if we can find one of these. Do we have two things? Where is... right, these ones are the papyrus ones, that's right. So in this example, I have a bitmap image where I have green. The green becomes my transparency color. So on the display.io palette object, there's a function called make transparent, I think it is. And you can pass it the index of the color that you want to represent transparency, and then display.io will essentially, neglect to draw any pixels that are that color. It will just skip them. So whatever was drawn beneath there will show through. It will be as if it was transparent, like in a PNG. So this is a common thing we want to do with display.io is use this idea of the transparency color. Where the hangup comes in, though, or what this discussion was spawned from was when you have a transparency color, but because of some of the manipulations of your bitmap, the edges get a little fuzzy, sort of. The edges get anti-aliased, or is it aliased? I don't actually know the correct term. The edges get kind of fuzzy, and it makes it so there are multiple shades of your color. To show you this, I'll open this file in here. Inside of GIMP, Papyrus. It is the font. The font on this one is, well, technically it's called Parchment, but I believe it's supposed to be very close to Papyrus. This was one that I found that seemed to have a permissive license. And as far as I could tell, it is a copy of Papyrus. But I don't know for certain. I don't actually recognize it, and I can't say as though I actually did look at Papyrus specifically as well. My PC doesn't have Papyrus. I think it comes preloaded like in Windows and maybe Mac, I'm not sure. Mine didn't have it, so I got to try to find a download of it that I can take a look at to compare. Excuse me. Okay, so when we have an image like this, we're going to have a palette. The palette is all the colors that are utilized within the image. And what you see here is we have like several different shades of green because of the manipulations that occurred on this bitmap. If I zoom into these edges here, then you can kind of see where these are coming from, right? We have like all the way green out here, and then we have a little bit different green, a little bit different, darker. Each of these are like kind of close to green, but not quite green. So this is a utility that's going to try to find all of these, similar colors to your transparent colors so that you can hopefully set them all to be transparent without necessarily having to like alter your palette. Because like here, you can see what I've done is I've scooted all the greens to the beginning of the palette. So basically the first, 12-ish, maybe 11 colors are different shades of green. So then in my CircuitPython code, I've gone and said, for loop 0 to 11, set, make transparent that index, 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up, right? So, that's not bad, but it's some manual work to come in here and go to your palette and, drag these things around to get them all at the beginning or at the end or however you want to do it. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some kind of utility to help us do that? And Cedar Grove has stepped up and said, yes, it would be nice, and here it is. So that is what I'm going to play with first. Let me take a quick look at this. Okay. And of course, I intend to use this most immediately on this flip clock, which I've got running on the device there that you saw. But obviously, this is like a much more dynamically useful thing, right? Like this, there's lots of different uses for this thing within Display.io. You could use it for lots of different reasons, and it makes this idea of kind of like cutting out these colors much easier to do. So I'll clone it to start with. Here's the link. I'll drop it in the chat if anybody is interested. You can obviously see the URL there as well, but if anyone else is interested in taking a look at the library that I will be tinkering with here, I'll close this thing. It takes up so much space here. There we go. I'll just clone it, and then we'll take a look at the examples that are in there and just start tinkering away. And eventually we could try to work this into the flip clock. I don't know exactly if I'll do all of that at once. I do also want to try to work on the MPY file size thing, but I want to take a look at this first and foremost, and then we'll see kind of where we go from there. Let's see, this is actually something different. Sorry about that. Let's go, close that. How's it going, Deshipu? Thanks for tuning in on this. I'll open it up in here. Let me open up one of these other ones first. Let's see, it was C for CircuitPython, I think. No, palette filter, rather. Is always wanting to like change environments now. How's it going, DJ Devon? So I will copy this over to my device as well, and then take a look at the code. Oh. Oh, nice. There's a box PDF in here. Replacing color index values, target color along with the tolerance parameter. So you give it the color you want to target. In my case, that would be the green, which is like solid green. 255 green, 00 for red and blue. And then you give it a tolerance, and it will kind of find all the things that are close to that tolerance. Well, to that color, and then, far away enough based on your tolerance. Creates a new palette. Nice. Nice, and I will say this bit's most likely over my head, the actual algorithms involved here. I'll pull this up though, because I'm always interested in taking a peek at the kind of essence underneath a functionality. Color distance, okay, color difference. So this does this idea. Yeah. Euclidean distance. Huh. It's equals. Nice. Okay. Like we've had a bunch of different versions of this throughout the years. Gotten better and better, probably, and also as like different screens and different printing capabilities and all that stuff came along, I'm sure we can like more reliably represent more colors, so it would make sense we got to get better and better at being able to tell them apart. Let's see here. Start with the examples that are in it, and then we'll play with it some separately as well. This one is going to make a source colors, does it? It looks like, okay, this one, okay, so simple test, this one will just have the palette and then change it. There's no actual bitmap in this. Let's go to code. Let me do code as, let's go papyrus flip clock. It's really flip digit, I guess. It's only one digit. I have flip digits with crossbars now too. I was working on that last night. I didn't stream it, but I was working on that. But I have not tested them out on the device yet. I haven't taken a look at them. Just generated the sprite sheets and worked on the generator script. Maybe we'll do that later on as well. Although I am, like I said earlier, I'm also interested in getting into the MPY file size thing I worked on a couple weeks back. We got some new feedback to work on for that. I'm definitely interested in getting that project moving forward. So CodePy here, we can, oh, we already copy pasted something else. So we'll go back and grab this. Whoops, oops. Authors, GG, there we go. There we go. But I had put something else in there. Did I change the font? I did, yeah. Well, it's called Parchment technically, but I think it's a copy of Papyrus. I need to look a little bit further into it to make sure that's the case. But that's my understanding so far. I did change it to that Parchment, and the reason I chose Parchment is because I found a copy of it with a license. So if we want to put it in the repo, then we need to have the license to it. Although it occurred to me after the fact that images, I don't think we would need the font license for. So maybe I just won't. Maybe I will use Papyrus, but then just not put the font itself in the repo, because I think it's not. I don't know that it's like open source or whatever. I mean, it's easy to find, but I don't. It's licensed for. Doesn't seem to be licensed for open source. So this one's mostly just going to print, and we'll need to be connected to the serial console in order to see it. So it's one, let's just take a step through the code here. It's going to set up this palette. The target color is 080808, which must be some sort of grayish, right? I guess. So this one's here, and then, okay, these are all like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay. And then they're all the same pattern. Okay. So they're basically shades of gray. And then it's got target color is 8, fill color is none, tolerance is set to 4. Create a palette from the source colors. So this is a list. We make a palette, we loop over the source colors, we add them to the palette. So this is basically just making the palette. Wouldn't it be cool? Maybe this would be something we should do one day, is a constructor for palette that takes a list. Then you could not need all this code at the application layer. It could just be display.io palette and then source colors. You pass it in and it just creates it for you. That'd be pretty sweet. That would be, I think, a change in the core, but it would be easy enough, I think. It wouldn't be too bad, probably. I don't know. I don't know that have I worked with lists inside the core? I think so. Maybe as tuples? I don't remember for sure. Set the source palette to make transparent, and then it's, in this case, it's going make transparent 3, 0, 1, 2, so that's this one. Instantiate the palette filter, so you go source palette, target color, fill color tolerance, it has print target color, source color, well, source palette, header row, loop, print these things, index color, and then is it transparent or not? Is transparent. Is this on palette? I didn't know there was an is transparent. That's pretty useful. Is that on palette? Must be, right? Scan my signature. I also use Papyrus for my name on the back of a PCB. Nice. Would love to see one list constructor or make palette, or yeah, it could be make palette, I guess, too, instead of the if there's some reason it shouldn't be a constructor. I've seen some where there's like functions that are like make thing or whatever. Inheritable. Oh, inheritable, so you could extend it. How's it going, Arjun, over on YouTube? Thanks for tuning in. I think it's not enough. So there we go. Color converter. Well, color converter is similar. But palette should be a class also, right? It's going to be down lower. There we go. It's transparent. Yeah, I didn't know that had that. Interesting. Nice. It's a good one to file away. And then new palette, so it's going to create the new palette for you. We'll make it accessible on here. Yeah, okay, so palette, filter, palette. And then it will print. So it'll show us which ones are transparent in the after, essentially. So let's let it run. And so this one was transparent initially. And then here we end up true, true, true. And it's the last three, but that is because source. I'm fine. Have a great day. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. So target here is targeting which one to make transparent in the output of this. And then tolerance would affect the number. So if we go, I don't know if it goes up or down. Probably, I guess if we make the tolerance bigger, then that means more things could be made transparent. So if we got a bigger tolerance, we could eventually probably get it to do this one transparent also. Let's make sure I actually understand that, though. So if we tried 6, let's see what the scale needs to be like. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay. Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. You just give it your target color, it figures it out for you. Let's try this one, graphics test. Zero for a single color. Oh, okay, nice. So you could still target it down to a single. Okay, 0. And then, oh, you know what? Let me switch back to this real fast. I want to try a few more things. If this is out of order, does it, so like if this was here. Yeah, okay, nice. So this makes it so that you don't have to rearrange your palette, which is awesome. This means your palette can be all scrambled as long as you know your one target color. So I guess I'll say your palette can be scrambled. If it were me, I'd still probably move my green, my one base green. I'd probably move it to 0, index 0. But the rest of the palette can be scrambled. You can tell it that green index, and then it will find all the ones, you know, similar enough, close enough, based on your tolerance. Graphics test was designed for PyPortal. We can tweak it around if we need to. Yeah, I can, if I need different graphics or anything, we can get it tweaked, I think. And I have a PyPortal here as well, actually, so if we need to switch over, we can ultimately. Is it like flying Lars? Let's copy that. Is it super big? Let's see. Oops. is 320 by 201. Let's see, we could scale it down some, or we could just try it 320. I don't remember what the size is. Let's see what it does. This is like 240 by something. Let's take a look through this one. This one has got the image file. A couple of display parameters: brightness for the display, rotation, background color none, scale 1. Okay, image file, target color as green, fill color none, tolerance invert. What does fill color do? We'll have to try that a little bit. Invert, false, tolerance 1, instantiate the display, built-in display, set the brightness, set the rotation, create a group for primary layer, show it on the display, create a rectangle. Is that vector IO or shapes? Let's see. Shapes, okay. Create a rectangle with shapes. XY width, height, fill. Background color, that's going to be fill none, I guess, on that one. Background color. Put that behind everything. Put the palette. Well, image load, bitmap, source palette from this image file here. File grid for it. Add it to the group that's showing. Create a label next. Text has target, anchor point, anchor position. This one may end up off the screen for us. We can tweak it to move it somewhere else. Or I'll probably just grab the PyPortal, actually. It's right here as well. Target block. Smaller rectangle, 30 by 30. Fill it with the target color. Add that to the group. Add the label to the group. Fill label. Position. Fill color is none. Okay, just set this transparent label if fill color is none. Another 30 by 30. Tolerance level label, so we can print the tolerance. This one has the word tolerance. This one, it looks like we'll get the value. Invert. False. Add them all to the group. There's our palette filter, source palette, target color, fill color tolerance, invert, and then 765 frames, count by 2s, so half that. So then there's change the tolerance each time. So as the tolerance changes, we get to see, each time how close it is, right? We get to get a sense for like how close are those colors at that tolerance level. So when we see it, we'll be able to do that. You could replace range. Let's see. You can also replace range of colors with another color. Paint range of colors with another color. It's a range of colors. Oh, like you could replace them all with like you could replace them all with the target color or something like that. So you could find like all of the near greens and change them to absolute green. Is that what you mean? Not sure if I follow. Okay, I will just load it on the PyPortal because I do have one right here, but which one is this? Is this standard? No. Okay, yeah, this is mini. Oh. Ooh. It's about time for a desk cleanup. It's probably past time for a desk cleanup, if we're honest. PyPortal wipe off. Yes, right. Okay. Interesting. That's a cool way to do it as well. So I see. So you mean paint like paint bucket fill, basically, because it essentially gives you that effect. You could fill a region of near colors with a new color. Interesting. All right, let's grab the library again. This one. That on this device, which is now the the PyPortal. Oh, but I didn't unplug the feather, actually. Let me unplug the feather. Oh, but now the PyPortal is going to be CircuitPy1. Here, let me unplug. So, again, Invert will create masks of the non-background. Create masks of the non-background. Masks of the non-background. I'm not sure I followed that either, but we could. I'll try it out with true false. I think that will probably make it easier for me to understand. Is this what is running here? Does this print anything? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Doesn't have the actual speaker hooked up, I don't think. Yeah, we don't have that, I don't think. Well, I mean, we might as well. I don't know if it's a simple test or if it was modified. So it should fail the first time because I didn't copy the image. Well, I didn't copy the library either. Oh, this one probably shouldn't be inside lib, actually, though. Let's put this out here. Put this here. Cut. Paste it. Let it restart. Paste. Paste like gray-ish? Why grayer than the rest of these? Like ever so light, ever so slightly a darker color. Okay. Okay, here we go. I don't know what the color is all about, but it did run. Oop. Okay, so we've got our photo of Lars. It's changing the tolerance down here. And it's cycling through tolerances, just counting by 2, which is giving us the ability to kind of see, like, once Lars is pretty much cut out all the way, then, like, that's probably the tolerance about where we'd want to use. Somewhere right around 350-ish. I think it was. So let's play with it a little bit manually. Let's just go pass on that one. Then let's go. This one's a much broader range. Oh, we don't need this. This one's a much broader range than the previous one. The previous one, we had a low tolerance, like only 4. I bumped it up to 6. And then this one, we're in the hundreds. I think I saw it around 350, maybe 340. Whoops. Not quite. I wonder, did I actually set it? Maybe it's not actually. So, well, yeah, no, we need to set this. Yeah, okay, let's do this one here. Let me put that back also. I'm going to try it lower again. Yeah, update the tile grid to use this palette, yeah. Okay, so we got little bits of it taken out at 200, and then closer to around 300 we'll have more It's darn close there. The only parts left at 300 are the shadow. They're definitely going to be the hardest bits for it to understand because they're the most, you know, the most different from the actual green. That one's pretty good. There's still a little bit under there, lining up with about what I thought I saw. I'm just trying to get a feel for like the different values here. We got some extra bits down there taken care of with that 10. Yeah. Nice. I didn't update the tolerance on the label. We could do that. Let's go for completeness sake, tolerance value dot text tolerance. Oops. Int object has no find. Only find. What does find do on string? Is that a thing? Python string.find? Okay. Didn't know about that either. So we're so close there. Yeah. Okay, let's try this with one of these also. Actually, let's try this with one of these that is... I still have one of these that is not rearranged. It did, right? I mean, I could run it again. Well, actually, I guess this one would be. Whoops. Oop. Oh, this one has the crossbar in it too, actually. Nice. Okay, yeah, that one's jumbled up. It does look like 0 is like pure green. That's what it looks like to me, at least. The other thing that might be interesting is, like, I wonder if you target something in the middle, like, or if I targeted that one, or like that one, maybe I could have a lower tolerance? I'm not sure. Or would the tolerance, it's probably the same either way, is it? Well, no, I mean, if you pick the center of the range that you're interested in, then you should be able to have smaller tolerance. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go, right? Is target the one in the middle. So like the range of colors is like the brightest, you know, most vivid version of that color, and then like the dullest is the one on the other end of the spectrum. And that's the range you're interested in. If the one you target is in the middle, then your tolerance only has to get you halfway on each side. But if the one you target is the most brightest or the dullest, then your tolerance has to get you the full range. Am I thinking about that the right way? Maybe that's not actually how the math works out. Okay, let's give this one a try, though. So this one's got it all jumbled up. Although this is probably too big, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think this loads. Let's generate a smaller one. Maybe like 32. So like this one is 100 tall, I think. So 64. We went down by 20. Oh, also though, I want animation frames 5. Okay, they're way wider than they need to be. They're actually like really wide. Oh, the height was 100, not the width. The width was only 48. There we go. That's a little bit more reasonable. We could tap the font size up a bit, I think. I know we don't like these details don't matter for our test of the palette thing, but I'm also working on creating the sprite sheet here as well to have one to share for this library, so might as well take a minute and get them lined up how we want. I mean, truthfully, well, the 0, it's okay. That's probably getting close to about as big as we can do it. We don't have too much more width for the 0. Nothing else, honestly. Maybe a tiny bit, but what is static looking like? Yeah. Horizontal bar is on the 4. But unfortunate. It's a little too big, isn't it? Was that by offset? Centerline color. I don't think I did have a centerline size argument yet. Have it as a variable here. Or isn't it coming out to 4 pixels though? Play a half size? Coming out to 3 pixels. Oh, okay, because we started. We basically go -1 for one side, +1 for the other side. I don't know what it will do if we put it on 1. Will it actually be smaller? Let's actually make it smaller with that math. Oh, no, that's smaller. Yeah, okay. Okay. One thing I noticed about this font, Papyrus or Parchment, is that it's a little bit weighted towards, is it top or bottom? Anyway, I introduced a Y offset here, which allows you to move it a bit because it was kind of not quite centered initially. So I figured this would be nice. Like some fonts might be further down towards the bottom, or some fonts might be further up towards the top, and you might want to like nudge it up or down by a couple pixels in either direction in order to get it to be how you want your flips to look. So I do think we want a little bit further back up, I think, right? Is this going Which way does this actually go? Yeah. Okay. 65K. Okay, so we've got full green as 0. I'll get like a halfway-ish nearby, and we'll try targeting those as well. I don't know if I'll actually have room, so see if it saves. Or I guess we have plenty of room, right? It's got like 8 megs. Yeah, the room is actually not the problem, the RAM. RAM is the problem, not the room. Class calculates the differential, so picking the center shade might help, but not significantly. Okay. I'm gonna go top animation. Is it sheet? Top animation sheet? I think so. Target color. Oh, yeah, actually, you don't. Your target color doesn't necessarily have to be the 0 index either. Nice. So this one is taller, right? It's running off the bottom down there. That's fine. Could maybe rotate it. Might fit, but it doesn't matter too much, truthfully. And I wonder what the tolerance is like on this one. Maybe should we put it back through the 100 is almost there, but not quite. Let's let it go back through its this thing here. Put these back off. Do these. Oops. Oh, what? Why did that not? Oh, much. We want this one still. Well, that makes sense actually, because the overwhelming majority of ours is straight green, right? We only have those couple of pixels around the edge. That does make sense actually. Nice. I think that's probably good. 200. A little over 200 actually. There we go. Sweet. I'm gonna look at it straight on. Curious what, let's see what the effect of the second color is. How do we find out the second color? Oh, there's a sort inside here. Huh. Sure. Okay, we don't have a great way to target the, or to figure out what the second one is, so I'll find like a middle-ish, maybe, maybe one of these. Okay, so then if we go with that one, we can have smaller tolerance, it looks like. Sweet spot between there. Ooh, maybe there's not quite a zone. Maybe there's not a good zone with this one. Oh, okay, it cuts both actually. So the target one, maybe that's too dark. Try this one that was right above it, I think. A little brighter. Oops. That's a pretty good cut. It's at 205. Cut the gray if we go higher. White. Let's look at the loop again on this one. Wait, I did that wrong. Around 130, it takes out the bulk of the background. But there is still a little bit, maybe like one row of pixels there. We cut that, we're around 230, 240. That's about like the hot zone, kind of. Which was about the same. Yeah, so it was about the same. Maybe it can, I mean, 210 gets us most of the way there, so we can go a little bit lower, but not that much. Like C. Grover was saying, not significantly, definitely. Oop. One gross. Oop. Okay, sweet. So this gives us a way, if we want to do less work with our transparency, less manual work of manipulating the palettes by hand, which is awesome, because I spend a fair amount of time going back and like reorganizing palette colors in order to make them transparent inside CircuitPython. So this is awesome. Thank you for making this and sharing it, C. Grover. I definitely will want to add this as an option inside the flip digit to where the user could Well, it kind of can just, it'll work alongside the flip digit, truthfully, because the way that I set it up is the palette gets generated aside. The palette gets generated at the user code level rather than inside. So you could use this in conjunction, and actually this library doesn't have to change. Flip digit will work as is, because you initialize your images, which means you get your palettes as well. You make them transparent however you want, and then you pass them in. And then internally, the bits that it does are the fader to go brighter and darker. But the actual transparency is handled outside. Nice. If there's no shades of green that you want to preserve, then the target color is not critical. Oh, okay, I see. If you wanted to keep some greens, then going further away from it helps you keep them. I see. Interesting. Okay, that does make sense. So then the green, just targeting the base color like this probably makes the most sense. Yeah. And looks pretty good too. I think these edges actually look better. This one, the right edges there. Nice. What is 250? Does 250 do anything else? I don't remember what we had when we were like this. What was 250? Yeah. Looks pretty good. Sweet. Okay, this is awesome. Try the fill color and invert. Yeah, thank you. I should do that. Let's go. We'll set them up here, right? Invert. So let's try invert false. Well, it was just on false. Let's try invert true. Okay. I see. Keep everything except. Okay, nice. So you can do positive or negative, basically. That's really cool as well, actually. Yeah, basically that means it works for both ways, whether you're trying to cut out your transparency or whether you're trying, well, I say whether you're trying to cut out your transparency, but it's really like whether you're trying to cut out your color or keep your color. You can do it either way. I see. And then fill colors, so let's try like blue. Or let's try pink. I'll do capitals to match these ones. So then this will replace it. Yeah. Nice. So it's like bucket fill, kind of like paint drop fill, sort of. You can, and then it has a square here, but my pink is already on top of it, actually. Yeah, this is really cool. Actually, this kind of really gives us a lot of flexibility that we didn't have with Display.io before. Or I should say, it's not that it's flexibility we didn't have. It's that it was manual. You would have had to like manually set up your palette, figure out your indexes, and set everything. This is giving you a nice, quick, easy to use API that is not manual at all. You can just take your image, whatever it is, throw it on the screen, try out a couple of tolerances, find the one that looks best, and boom, you're done. You don't have to worry about any kind of like palette manipulation at all. You don't need to order it. You don't need to shuffle it to put your transparency at the beginning. You don't even need to know anything about the palette, honestly, because you don't target it by index, you target it by color. So like you honestly don't need anything. You don't need to know anything about the palette, and the palette doesn't need to be in any way specially prepared, other than like you will have had a transparent color in it, but like no other manipulation. It simply needs to exist, which is awesome. That is really cool. Yeah. There's not a rotate, is there? What's the easiest way to rotate this? There's not one. Let's see. It's like roto zoom, I think, is probably the easiest and only. Oh, well I could rotate the display. Does that help us? Yeah, maybe. Let's try rotating the display. Touchscreen color picker cursor. Oh, interesting. So you can, so the user of the application could select the color more so than the like developer of the application. Interesting, you can still see part of the REPL behind here. Surprised by that, I think. Maybe the size is different. Thing with the size is making it weird. Yeah. Or, well, no, something with the rotation made it weird. It's like it still had part of the old rotation on it. Huh. It's probably just because it didn't redraw the whole thing. Nice. Okay. Yeah, this is amazing. Big thanks to C. Grover in the chat. This, I think, really does, like I said, it's going to give us a lot. It just makes dealing with transparency inside your bitmaps so much easier. Not having to manually move all of these palette indexes around and worry about all that stuff. It makes it a lot more like, I mean, it's one step closer to PNG, basically, where it just supports transparency natively. Obviously, we're not there yet, but it makes it feel more like that, even closer to that than what we have today. So that is awesome. Thank you again for creating this and sharing it. If anybody's interested in playing around with it, I did drop that link in the GitHub before. Eventually, I think it will end up in the community library bundle, potentially. Not there yet, but it's up on GitHub, right? So you can still play around with it if anybody wants to. And yeah, I will set up some of the examples in the flip clock repo to use that instead of what I have today, which is, I think, like range. I did range 0 to 11 for my transparent indexes. But that's like 11 is just a magic number, right? I just had to look at the palette and find that, and also rearrange the palette so that all 11 were at the beginning. I don't know why I just put that in there. I gotta run and fill up my water. I am super thirsty this evening for whatever reason, so I'm gonna fill up my water real fast, and then I'll be right back, and we'll dive into some MPY file size stuff. So BRB. Yeah. Oh, nice. Hand-drawn silkscreen fonts. Cadney font. Okay. Okay. There we go. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Next thing I will get into is MPY size stuff. So this is something I started a couple of weeks back. Let's go to cookie cutter. Cookie cutter. This PR. This PR has the work that has been done so far. Basically, for folks that don't know, and there are a couple of streams that cover this a few weeks back, so if anyone's interested in this stuff and didn't catch those and want more of the background filled in, you can catch those VODs on YouTube, and you can see when we were working on this before. This is basically a thing that will let GitHub Action print a comment on a PR with the size of the MPY file for that branch. And specifically, it will compare it to the current size of that library. That way, we can have a quantitative thing that says, like, if we merge these changes, then the size of the MPY file goes from, whatever, 1.2K to, 1.4K or whatever, right? Like, we'll be able to see those things printed out as a comment on the PR, and it will happen automatically from the actions. The specific thing that I am working on, oh, nice. Just one of the Kattni boards. I2C potentiometer. I got one of those. Do I? No, mine's a... Do I? Yeah, I do. I have the... Oh, no, mine's a rotary encoder. Not a potentiometer. Rotary encoder I have. I don't think I do. I don't think it does say Kattni on there either, unfortunately. So the specific thing to work on is the way it's getting the current size. So I said it compares the new size or the changed size with the current size. Well, the current size, the way it's calculating it, is not what we want. So we talked about this a bit in the meeting last week in the weeds, I think it was. So if anybody is also interested in more of that context, I would encourage you to go back. You can find the old meetings on YouTube as well. The meeting during In the Weeds, we talked about this a bit, and Jeff raised the idea of the way we're getting the current size is by using the bundle, which let's dive into the code a bit because it has size tools. Let's go here. It's going to be a cool DevOps, yeah, data point MPY size. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Eventually, I hope to get to a point where we're importing on a device as well and maybe getting RAM. I think that would be super cool, but one step at a time. You got to walk before we can run. Inside of here, size tools, it download latest bundle. So this would be what it's using. It's getting the current size from the latest bundle. Published version. So it says download latest bundle. Download the latest bundle. Change directories inside of it. So this must download it and unzip it, then change directories to go inside of it, change directories to go inside of lib. Create a variable because we need to handle single file MPY files versus multiple file ones. So so we make a variable for the single file, we check if that file exists. If it does, we get the stats from it. So we're just downloading the bundle, trying to find this file. If it exists, we get the stats from it. If it doesn't exist, then we assume it's not a single file. It's going to be a multi-file. And so in that case, it is going to get the package name. It's going to cd into the package name directory. And then it's going to get sizes from directory /, which will add up all the sizes of all the files inside that directory. And so the key thing right now is that this is downloading the bundle. This says download latest bundle. So that's where these are coming from, these ones that it's comparing to. We want to do something else. Instead of download the latest bundle, we want to clone or check out the main branch, build it as an MPY files, and then compare against that rather than whatever's in the bundle. And so we think about it. So right now, the build of this branch comes from other actions. See, because we're using this. So this is the bit working on checking the size for the current version, the version that's been, well, not current, I should say, the changed version, the version that's in the PR. And it's actually just finding some built MPY files that already exist. They already exist because there's another action that created it. Firefox, switch tab, not deallocate. I think I would like to see us having CI upload bin sizes onto a database with a board ID and a get hash. Bin sizes into a database. The bin sizes of the builds inside the core repo, you mean? Or do you mean library binary sizes? And so one thing is there's kind of a lot of steps to building the current one. So this is going to check out the current repo. This is what builds it. And so we'll actually need to do our, well, we'll either need to add another step that builds the main branch, or we'll need to do that inside of our stuff. I think I lean towards trying to do it inside, but it's also partially that I'm just less familiar with GitHub Actions. Because one thing I don't see is how does it know which branch it's checking out? Out current repo. Actions checkout. Is this like, is it built in to just know what branch? Can you tell it a different branch? And can you give it like a directory or something? Because the thing is, like, if we check out, like if I check out main, then it's gonna like change everything to be main. I don't really want to have to change back and forth, and I also don't want to break any of the other actions that are assuming, that could be assuming the branch that it's on. Only a single commit is fetched by default for the hash that triggered the workflow. Set fetch step 0 to fetch all history for all branches and tags. Doesn't look like you... Well, this one... Okay, this one does have a repository. And then branch, I guess. Can you give it a location? Can I, like, clone it? Relative path? Okay. That's getting closer, I think. So this one basically is... Okay, so let's see. Where did I was trying these somewhere. It's been a couple of weeks, though. I'm not sure... Is it this one? It was this one. Nice. Branch... If environment.branch ref equals main, then I assume it knows because it's in the environment variables. I was thinking of the core mostly, but library sizes would be cool too. So this would basically give you... This would basically let you have a list of all the boards that are supported and what size their binary is, and then because it has get hashes, you could presumably like see it over time, or maybe over time is not the right way to think about it, but like over code changes which happen over time. That would be interesting. That would also let us see if and which boards are very close to the limit, potentially. Which is probably helpful information to know, because right now it's like we go to add something and then like some of them are now over the limit, and then we got to go and like try to cut elsewhere to make room back. Okay, so let's say name clone, we're gonna say clone main branch, repository, so that's where it gets weird, because we want this repo. But could we just not give it a repository, and then it will check out the one that we are made the action from? We could give it a path of main branch repo. We could then give it a ref of main, because it said that could be a branch. Thought it said that, right? The branch tag or SHA to check out, yeah. Otherwise, it uses the default branch. So, okay, the default is GitHub repo, so that will check out this one. And then ref, we can tell it the branch we want. So we should end up with a folder called main branch repo that is a copy of the main ranch. Did I say main ranch? I think I said main ranch right there. Unclear if it was for salad dressing or a plot of land where they house cattle. Maybe a bit of both. I don't know. Let's just see if this works, because I don't, like I said, I'm not very, like, don't have a lot of experience with actions. I don't have a lot of, like, trust that what I'm doing is right. Test, check main. Run. Why does this happen? ls main branch repo. cd main branch repo. Is there like get status? Get status? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, let's try this. What are we missing? Files? Oh, bundle stuff? Okay, that's fair. Sizes. One thing maybe we want to do is, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. One thing, I'm not sure if this prints out anymore. It might only go to the comment, and we might not be able to see it in the actions output. If that's the case, we might go back and make it so it prints out as well, but explain what you're trying to do again. So right now, well, here, I think this will make it easier to understand as well, if we can see the old ones I did. So did this actually... Yeah, it did print all this stuff out. So, well, okay, no, not quite though, because it doesn't have the comparison. Okay, let me go here maybe? Okay, yeah, so these are the outputs. This is what the actions command that we are working on will output. And right now what we have here is published version, which is taking it from the bundle, the currently released bundle, and that's where it's getting these numbers from for the current version. For the published version. What we want though is we want this bit here to be main version, not necessarily published version. The vast majority of the time, those two things are going to be the same thing. Like most of the time, whatever is the published version in the bundle is the same thing that is in main. But sometimes it might not be the case. It might be the case that a PR got merged, thus main has been updated, but a new release has not been made yet, or possibly a new release has been made, but it hasn't made it into the bundle yet, because the bundle also gets generated once per night. So it could be the case that whatever's in main is actually different from whatever is currently, as of right this second, in the bundle. It will probably catch up by tomorrow and be the same again. You know, if a release has been made, or if not yet, then probably it will catch up within a week or so when Eva makes the releases for us. But for those scenarios where they might be different, we want to be comparing to the main version rather than the published version. That way we're always comparing the changes in this PR against what is currently in main rather than what is actually currently released already. Let me know if that makes sense. And so then, like, most immediately, I'm going to have it check out main, see if that worked, and then if it did, we're going to cd inside of main, and we're going to build the MPY files for main, and then that's where we will get our, main version numbers from, and then we'll swap them out for the published version. Okay, nice. We push here, and then we'll wait. See the actions. On pull, there's actually two actions that trigger. There's one for push and one for pull request. And I guess pull request is the one we would want to be doing this on. Do we have any limiters? Huh. I wonder, we probably want to limit this to not run unless it's the pull request. Since this runs on push also, I guess we wouldn't want it to run if it was just a push to main because there would be no PR to comment on. We pretty much only want to do it on a PR, I think. Yeah. Let's see, there is an MPY size of main, the last release, and the version in the bundle. Yep. Are you planning to store the MPY size in main or to calculate it again on every PR? I hadn't really considered it, but definitely where my mind was going was calculate it again on every PR. Yeah, I think that's what I lean towards, because if we tried to, like, we could calculate it and then check it into main, and then we could just read it from there, like in a JSON file or something, but we'd have to make extra commits. Like, after each merge, it would have, like, a follow-up commit where it updated the size, maybe. It would be more efficient, because then we wouldn't need to build main during the PR. So that would, like, definitely cut down the amount of stuff the actions is doing. It's an interesting idea, actually, storing it. Yeah, I definitely had not considered it. What are these post? Post job cleanup. It's new? I don't recall ever seeing post stuff before. Huh. So it didn't crash. That's got to be a good sign. Check main. Oh, we should have. Oh, okay. Check clone main. Here we go. Check out repository. Config changes. Stuff. Counting. From. Checkout. Doesn't tell us much here as far as, like, did it go to the right directory? Just as far as I can see. Oh, actually right there, it does. Main branch repo. ls main branch. Okay, okay. We got all these files. We did get status or whatever, or on branch main. What did we have it do? CD, okay, ls it, cd into it, and then get status it. So this is all the get status. And so it does show that it's on main, nothing to commit, all of that stuff makes sense. So now inside of here, well, let's build. We could build from here too, right? Can we or no? Where's build MPY? Build assets. Library location. Yeah, we can. Where's it? Is it gonna build Is it gonna build? Is it gonna put them inside the library, the ones it builds, or is it gonna put them inside the directory that we are currently in? So I'll leave check main for now. Obviously we won't really need this one in the final thing, but I'll leave it for now. Build main. Build main. What is this mad about? Schema validation? Why? Name. Required string actual object. See. So here, library location would not be dot. Instead, it would be dot slash main. What did I say? Main branch repo or something? Yeah, main branch repo. Main branch repo. Let's see. Caching it would use less actions. That's definitely true. Although I think Adafruit isn't paying for that since it's all open source and public repos, but it's considerate. I think they pay GitHub for something. I don't know the specifics, but I think they are a paying GitHub customer. I'm not 100% sure, so I reserve the right to be wrong. I certainly could be wrong about this or really anything, but I think they pay for something, and I don't know if it's like, I don't know how it works, if it's an amount of hours used or if it's just like support, or I have no idea. But I feel like I recall somebody mentioning that they do pay for to like be an organization on GitHub. I think. Do you have to pay for that? I'm not actually sure. Something like that, though, I think. And then actions is like one part of it, I would assume. So we should, you know what we should do though is we should move our check main until after build main. That way we can see after it's built. Why does it paste like that? PyCharm does not understand YAML very well. This YAML? Yeah. Gotta work on that. I'm gonna change this to look at, just because check is close to checkout, which is a Git action, which is not what we were doing. And for a second, I almost confused myself with it. Even this one says check size as well, but maybe we should do like size measurement, measure sizes. We still have check down here as well. I use check quite a bit, actually. That's interesting. We have nothing there. Is there any other kind of caching? Is there like... Is there any place it can be cached that's not inside the repo? Can like actions just cache some JSON data and then access it again in a future action without it actually being in the repo? Or would it pretty much have to commit it and push it into the repo? Oop. If there's some like in-between place where you don't have to make a commit, but you could save it there, that would be pretty cool. Because it definitely would be nice to not actually calculate it every time. Okay, while this is running, I'm gonna run to the restroom real fast because of all the water I've been drinking. So I'll be right back again. Okay. I almost want to set up a locally hosted runner, which we played with a little bit when I first started this as well, because it'd be nice to be able to like get a look at what's going on inside the actions container more specifically. All right, so here's our build main. Deleting existing build. Yeah, so I think this deleted the one that got built before. So build assets here. This generates generated this and zipped it. I think this deleted it. This is now saying delete existing build. And this is the same directory, but probably a different commit, I guess, right? Isn't that a commit hash? Maybe not. 909? No, that does say the same. Does this quite a few times. This is kind of odd. I am surprised this is the same. Shouldn't those be different? Yeah, and it doesn't have, they're not inside of here. So I guess what we want is maybe do this, do cd main branch repo, and then this is actually going to be back to dot. What was that? 909? That's actually not any of these commits. Is that the current? What's that? No? Line behind or something? Mine is different. You could run any script you want. I think the right place to make it happen would be inside the build tools. I'm not yet sure where to store it. I can't think of a reason to not commit it to the repo. Mostly I'm just scared of having the actions like make a change and commit it, because if it goes wrong, then it might like delete something or add too much or do something weird. I mean, I guess we just test it and try to make sure it doesn't do that, but GitHub artifacts. Artifacts would be interesting. We use artifacts for the builds, I think. Workflow artifacts. If those can be accessed by a future workflow, that might be a good candidate. I mean, the other thing with committing it is then essentially every commit becomes 2 commits, or every PR becomes an extra commit, which I guess doesn't matter, right? Commits are free. It doesn't really matter how many we have, so maybe that's not a problem. Artifacts does seem like an interesting idea, though. If that can be accessed from the next one, you can download it. Okay, so we could post like a JSON file into the artifact, and then we could download it. My artifact. So are these per branch or per repo or? Load all artifacts. Surprised we haven't managed to crash one of these yet, honestly. So this one did its thing, build its stuff. Clone main branch. Build main. CD. Yeah, see, this time we don't have the deleting. Okay. And then this is... Okay, yeah, we actually do have two different numbers now as well, hashes. So this one, which should be the changed branch, is 2A0. And then this one, which should be main, is 093. Makes sense for main. This one is 403. I don't know where we got the 2. 2A0. Maybe those aren't commit hashes. I assumed they were. Maybe they're not. 2A0. Or did we already have multiple commits? No. I have a 2A0. I don't know where that came from. For a GitHub action run, but I don't see download this one. Yeah, the official one doesn't support that. There's an issue for that. This does. Actions download artifact. I see. Download this one. Action download artifact. So yeah, I'm not sure about this hash. That seems odd to me. I don't know where it got that, but as far as I understand, this should be the one that's building the branch from this PR. This one now looks to be building main, and if we look inside of here now, we have these, which is perfect. Inside of these, it's going to have the MPY file that we need to use to check against. So inside of here... Nope, we don't have it open, actually. Okay, let me open it. Probably not going to be in recent. Well, it's in there somewhere, but... Size tools. So this is going to now be main version. Main branch version. Download latest bundle. So we don't need to download anymore. Honestly, it's going to behave a lot more like this one. Here's our is file. So this will look in the current directory to find this file. Okay, so before we do that, we want to go os.chdir main, is it main repo branch? Main repo branch, is that right? Yeah, no, main branch repo, okay. CD to there. Then find the version 8 MPYs, go inside there, go inside the first directory you find, go inside lib, and do basically this stuff, but this would be main branch version. And the good news is, like, this is all the exact same stuff in the other one, so besides the output, I don't think much else needs to change. And this does need changed version size strings. Cur version size. Oh, okay, so where we do these, we actually want cur. I should probably change it to main version instead of cur version, but string file. Okay. Okay. Let's say change to compare with main branch instead of published. Received two 10,000 milliamp hour batteries. Got a possible hurricane Headed this way and starting to charge up everything. Yikes, good luck. I hope it doesn't get too bad out there, wherever you're at. Hope your batteries get charged up and get you through as well. It's definitely nice. I got a big battery bank, and it's definitely nice when the power's out to still be able to do some stuff. Okay, so that is now pushed. We pretty much need to make another change here, though, and push it. That way we'll get the actions to run again. Let's comment that out for now. You know, one thing else we probably want to check is, like, do we need to CD anywhere else? Because, oh, okay, no, this is already original working dir. This is already going to change us back. Okay. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Oh, that stuff doesn't matter. I'm going to leave that. We'll commit it again later. I wonder if those push actions are failing. So I'll find out when I check my email after this. I think it sends me an email for failed actions. 10K batteries are brand new products. Max used to be 6,600. Oh, nice. That's like another 3,400. That's pretty good size. Increased 30%. Excited to try it out with my weather station. I'm sure we'll get some work this week logging everything to Adafruit IO, as long as I have Wi-Fi anyway. You can still log to your phone as a tether. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, tethering your phone to have stuff join the network is pretty nifty. It's definitely helpful sometimes, especially if the power's out and therefore the internet, like Wi-Fi, is out. Then cell phone network is definitely super useful. If you have like an SD card or something in your project, you could cache data to that as well. And then even if you had no network connection, it would still be inside your local file. You could either like upload it after the fact or be able to look back on it. Uh-oh, this time we failed. No such file. I guess it's because it was CD'd into the wrong place. Right? It was CD'd into wherever this left it. So this won't work. We need to go back to the root, which was that original, I think, right? Original location or something. Where did we actually get that from? Original working dir. Yeah. Oops. Go back there first. So that XD carding is a great idea. I haven't set that up yet. I have an SD card on the Featherwing though. Nice. Oops, I should have changed the commit message, but I'm gonna close this one and this one. Probably close device workspace as well, but this will at least make it so it doesn't have to scroll. And then I guess, I don't know, we'll comment this one more, or I don't know. Oh, that is the YouTube. Oh no, the Discord is running off the screen too. Oh goodness. Didn't check my preview well enough today. Okay. Is the YouTube super tiny? Is that just my preview? Pretty tiny. Let's make it. Okay. There's a little bar there that's like the top margin. We could try to cut that out as well, but I'll check with that later. I don't want to do too much inside OBS while it's running. I think that looks better. I'll have to, yeah, I wonder if there's like, can I set a default? I'll have to try to remember to, uh-oh. Where's the rest of our stuff? Oh, I don't know. Something went wrong here because this is also pretty much current version instead of main. Well, main and publish, but I mean in this case, main and publish probably should be the same. Hmm. So what was this? Was oh, okay. Output string. Yeah. We need to not do that. Yeah. Okay. I guess we probably want this still. And then this should be plus equals. Um, why is main that different than published though? Published we had only 766. But main is bigger. Hmm. $25 days ago? 28 days ago. So I guess though in my case main could be behind. Maybe my main is behind. I think Adafruit.io has a way to import a log from an SD card. Well, you can write the code though, right? You can write code that loops through the SD card and then uploads it to Adafruit.io. Definitely not with Whippersnapper. Yeah, that one I definitely know less about. I've only done the most basic with Whippersnapper so far. I'm using as your name main real time. Nice. 2 temp. It's 2 for the temp sensor and TFT featherwing. Too many projects. Ah. It's not a problem though. Too many projects is a good thing. Lots of projects is a good thing. Okay. So we pushed our size, I think, so it would be checking out Foamy Guy main, I think, right? Because it would be checking out the branch that spawned it, and in my case, where is, no. Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, mine is a while back still. So maybe my main is behind / wrong. I'm gonna go Foamy Guy main, merge from Adafruit main. Push. This gets Foamy Guy main caught up. Then we go back to here. Maybe we should have it output this hash as part of the comment. So yeah, I think when you upload it using MQTT, it'll give data points with the wrong timestamp. It only works in real time. Can you specify a timestamp in the JSON? That I'm not sure about. But I mean, you could always, yeah, I don't know. If there's like a built-in timestamp, it may be automatic. You could make another field or whatever and submit your own timestamp. But yeah, if there is an automatic one, you may not be able to change it. I'm not too sure if there is or isn't. I also have only limited experience with Adafruit.io more generally too. I've done the most basic stuff with Whippersnapper, done a little bit more Adafruit.io, but not that much, truthfully. I don't think I've even ever done any sensor readings to Adafruit.io. The stuff I used it for was like pushing a video, not a video, pushing an image to it and then showing that image on the screen in typical Foamy Guy fashion. I used it for showing stuff on the screen. But it didn't fail this time. This is now different. 629. Okay, there's our output. Nice. So the changed version here is, I wonder if we should print the difference. I mean, people, I guess, could do the difference themselves. I don't know. Is the difference nice to have? Maybe it is. Same just with basic stuff. Whippersnapper, I used MQTT and JSON manually on the S2 to get it working, then moved it to another project. So this one was basically not quite 100 bytes, maybe like 60 or 70-ish bytes bigger. The strings, though, actually are a larger percentage. So it almost looks like, it looks like pretty much all of the bytes that were added were strings, because... Yeah, because that's like that same 70-ish added to that. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if we want a third section with like summary or conclusion or something where it could do the subtraction to say like additional size with this branch is X bytes, additional string size is X, you know, whatever. This the percentage, I mean, I guess it could subtract the percentages as well. We'll see. Maybe I'll ask for feedback on that on the comment. I don't know if it's worth having it print more, or if it doesn't, if it's not worth it because it basically just the numbers that are already there. Doesn't actually give us new information, just puts it into the comment for us. Okay. I do think that worked though. So I think we could take this out. And then we could basically go back to cookie cutter. Put in this new stuff. Having the difference done for people would be helpful. I don't think this works. So we didn't change this because all of that logic lives inside of here. So really the things we added were after clone size tools and before check sizes. Was clone main branch, build main branch. And that's not supposed to be. Why do you up the term stand? Build main. Okay. If we wanted it to comment, this would be in here. We'd basically go We should store the percentage. There we go. And one more. This one down here. Okay. Now we have those as variables. So then after this kind of stuff, we could be doing output string plus equals another one of these. Summary. MPY file size difference. Changed version minus cur version line. MPY strings size difference. Changed cur UI strings percentage changed occur. Okay. Eventually we're going to remove all this stuff. I'm going to leave it still for right now, but add summary section, size comment, differences. Okay, so we removed that, so we should pretty much get the same numbers as last time. But with the summary. Why are you spilling all over me, water? Alright. And I think I'll be heading out here pretty soon. So thank you again to everybody for watching. I will watch this one to the end. We'll see if it's working, or if we need to tweak anything, I may make the tweaks. But essentially, once we get this one printing the summary section here, I'll probably be turning it in for the night. So if anybody has any last minute questions or comments or anything else that you would like to share or say, now is the time to do it. And beyond that, we will hang out for a few minutes and watch the actions here and then call it a night. Gotta say, definitely thanks again to C. Grover for that palette filter. I think that's definitely going to be a super cool utility for Display.io. I think that makes a lot of stuff easier for us. So thanks again for sharing that and sending me the link to take a look at. Yep, you do the same as well, DJ Devin. Have a good night to you and everybody else who's watching. Yeah, for sure. It's taken quite a while, huh? Okay, there we go. Finally, you just gotta say something about it. It's all. It knows. It knows. Got ears everywhere. Pre-commits. I haven't run pre-commit for a while. I guess I've been passing though, right? That's a good sign. Whoops. Thanks for the stream. Good to be watching. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for watching. Definitely appreciate you watching. Hope you have a nice night as well, Harold. Got here. Build-in assets. So that's the changed version. I will say while it would save us some time to not have to build main, honestly, it doesn't take hardly any time at all. 1 second only for the build. I'm surprised it's not longer, truthfully, though. Okay. I think we're looking good. Let's head back to here. There we go. MPY file size difference was 69. The strings difference was 73. We didn't round our percentage. Let's do that the same way we did the others. I haven't been running pre-commit on this. Got some line too longs. Those to take care of. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, C. Grover. Happy to tinker around with it, take a look, and definitely looking forward to using it. So, store percentages and variables. What else do we do? Oh, output the summary. Add summary section. Or I guess we already had the summary section, didn't we? We just tweaked it a bit. We did, yeah, some of this stuff is old actually. We did round summary percentage 2 places. And add the percent sign. That's relatively minor. And then code format. Yeah, really those are the only 2 things we did. Code format makes it look like there was more changes than there were, but it's alright. Spelled summary wrong, oh well. It's forever etched into the commit history now. So yeah, this is odd to me that these are different, right? Does that make sense that this could be different? That feels wrong, doesn't it? Hello, Tim. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I am. I hope you're having a good day as well. I'm gonna be heading out here pretty soon, but I think thanks for watching and mentioning that, Roy. Appreciate that. Shouldn't these be the same? Or if not the same, shouldn't the file size be as big or bigger than the strings size? It's not that simple. Because it feels like if there were 73 more bytes of strings, wouldn't there have to be at least 73 more bytes of total size? Because the strings are part of the total size. It must not be 1-to-1 like I'm thinking. There must be some cases where the things inside the strings output are actually slightly bigger, I guess, than they end up occupying in the final file. That's the only thing I could think of that could cause that, but all right. I think that's where we will call it tonight. We got our summary print in there. I did go back and make the change to truncate this to 2 percentage decimals like these ones are, and also add the percent sign, but I won't bother making another commit for that right now. Only other thing really to do still would be to commit cookie cutter, and I'll hold off on that. I think what I'll do is when I do test this, I'll test it another time to get another printout with the updated percentage here. And then once that's done, I will push those commits to cookie cutter. That way I can link back to the comment that has the latest stuff in it, in that cookie cutter PR. And I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow during my stream. That's my guess as far as right now, at least. So if you're interested in seeing that or seeing the continuation of this project, come and join me tomorrow morning on my stream. You can find it on foamyguy_Twitch, or if you come to the live broadcast chat, which is the Discord chat that's on the screen down there, then I'll put the links there in the morning. That's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, so I'll be back working on this stuff again, I think. We'll see if tomorrow brings anything different as well. I may branch out into some other things also, but I'll probably start here. So that's what we've got for now. Thanks again to everybody for watching. I do hope everyone has a good evening. Yeah, again, definitely appreciate everybody purchasing hardware from Adafruit. Thank you to Adafruit for sponsoring myself to work on CircuitPython, as well as paying the rest of the team of folks who work on it. So huge thanks to them. And thank you to everybody for watching.